Internal crisis within the People's Democratic Party has worsened as the party's National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, petitioned the Department of State Services, the Inspector General of Police, and the Independent National Electoral Commission over an alleged forgery of his signature. Anyanwu alleged that a letter purportedly sent to INEC on August 25, 2025, regarding the party's planned national convention was neither authored nor approved by him. He described the act as criminal and called for an investigation and prosecution of those responsible within the PDP and INEC. The controversy comes amid an ongoing court battle in suit number FHC/ABJ/CS/2120/25 filed by PDP chairmen from Imo and Abia states, Austin Nwachukwu and Ama Abraham Nana, alongside South-South Zonal Secretary Turner Alaba George. The plaintiffs accused the Damagum-led National Working Committee of breaching the party's constitution and internal election guidelines, prompting judicial intervention. The case, presided over by Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court, Abuja, was adjourned to October 20 after disputes arose over legal representation, with two advocates, Kamaldeen Ajibade and Chief Chris Uche, laying claim to the role of party's counsel. The crisis, which had further fractured the PDP ahead of its November 15 to 16 National Elective Convention in Ibadan, has exposed deep divisions between factions loyal to acting National Chairman Omar Damagum and those aligned with the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. Disputes over the South-South zonal leadership control of the party structures and micro-zoning arrangements have intensified, raising fears that the lingering legal and internal wranglings could derail the convention and further weaken the opposition party. I will start with you on this one. What do you make of this story, Victor?
I think it was here when we were talking about parties and opposition.
Yes.
Last week, and I mentioned that as for the PDP, I don't think they are a party to think about, for now. I don't believe the PDP is dead. I believe they are in coma. I believe that right now they are going through a phase that, if handled properly, they have a potential of still maintaining that major opposition party stance after 2027, not in 2027. So whatever is happening now, you see, is people still trying to hold on to that structure to ensure that whatever is to be done in 2027 is done, and they can start afresh after 2027. And that is the end game of whatever you're saying now. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense that they're having argument about, convention or no convention, when they practically lost almost all their governors. They've lost a lot of, so you ask, what exactly are they fighting?
How many governors are even remaining right now?
5 or 6 remaining. So for me, this is a fight for the structure of the PDP. No, they don't want to lose it because it's a viable structure if handled properly. Whatever they have a game they are playing, and the game is, yes, we have left and made sure a lot of persons leave this, but it is a temporal movement we're doing. We do not want to lose this structure because look, if Damagum ensures and takes over the structure of PDP out of the hands of Wike, even if they don't have any governor left, the chances are the opposition, which is the ADP and the likes of Atiku, they can have a negotiation that will bring them back to PDP, and they will push that party, and so that is what Wike, they know that this could happen, because however you want to put it, defection is like I saw on social media. Defection now.
And has Atiku officially resigned from PDP? He has not yet.
No, I think he did.
Has he officially resigned?
Yes,
okay.
He did. But I'm saying
he can still come back.
Yeah, the same way he resigned, he can simply say they've gotten the soul of the party back, and it will be to them it will be a better platform than whatever
than
platform.
ADC.
So that is what you see. The fight you're saying now, it is for not for now, but for that is for the Anyanwu. They are doing it to ensure that it is not used against them whenever they want to come back. then for the article they are looking for, this is an option. Let's see if we can get this party back. If we're able to push these guys, since most of his persons have left the PDP and have gone to the APC, let's see if we can push them away and start something to do. There's still time for that. And that is what Wike knows. If he gives them an opportunity, that is what would happen. So for me, I think I see a long-term politics being played with the PDP.
Okay.
The PDP is a structure, is a viable name, has a name, has currency that, you know, all you just need to do is push in some money, push in some propaganda, and the PDP will still
bounce back.
Yes, a better platform to push. And that is what they are fighting for. Not necessarily because of 2027 or because of these issues. It's just for the soul of the party, and that is what I see happening here.
You're right, very well. Now, the crux of the matter is that Samuel Anyanwu is alleging forgery of his signature in writing to INEC, notifying them of the National Convention. Now, in the last, I think that was sometime last week, you were on the show on the Monday, and we were discussing PDP, and I now asked you, considering that Damagum and Anyanwu, they are at variance, I now asked who issues notices of meetings. You recall that conversation?
Yeah.
And of course, I told you that the PDP constitution says the chairman calls for meetings.
Yeah.
It is the secretary that issues notice of meeting and as well as take records or minutes of the meeting. Now, I was now asking if Damagum and Anyanwu are not seeing eye to eye. If Samuel Anyanwu does not issue notice of meeting and write probably to INEC and all the bodies responsible, will that meeting hold? Can it be seen as valid? Now, a week down the line, there is an allegation by Samuel Anyanwu that his signature has been forged in writing notice of meeting for National Convention to INEC. What do you make of this story?
First thing is that Anyanwu has petitioned the
DSS and the police.
And police and INEC to thoroughly investigate that forgery or cloning of his signature. If truly he's not the one that... I believe that when these enforcement agencies delve into it, they will discover if Anyanwu actually signed or his signature was cloned. But if his signature was cloned, I think I'll blame whoever did that. I believe that PDP, National Caucus of PDP, has grown beyond that level to commit such minor crime. And you see that it is what causes a wound causes it to bleed. So the problem in PDP, just like Victor has said, is a fight for the root of the party. Yes, the Wike group knows what will happen if Damagum should clinch to the superstructure of PDP. And I believe that even the ruling party APC knows that definitely if PDP should bounce back in full force, they will struggle with it. But I'm advising that they shouldn't take this fight too far so that it will not be a miscalculation on their side, both Wike's group and Umar Damagum's group. Because you see that the fight in Rivers State was wrongly calculated. And that's why you see people now shouting. Even people who couldn't talk, who were talking for, while we were against declaration of a state of emergency and bars. Yes, one may say that declaration of emergency retained the governor, but imposition of a bars sapped the state. And everybody is seeing it now. You can see cancellation of contracts and all that, and dissolution of committees and commissions. And all these things were as a result of what happened during that miscalculated battle. So now that PDP is fighting for the soul of the party between Wike and Damagum, because I'm not even seeing Samuel Anyanwu. I see Samuel Anyanwu as a proxy, somebody who is working for somebody. And Umar Damagum, whom they're supposed to have removed 2 years ago. Remember we talked about, was it 2 years, other 2 years ago, last year, when, because he was there on acting capacity. And law does not guarantee perpetual stay on office of on acting capacity. No. But however, the battle has reached to this point that they are now having issues about conducting elective national convention. And you know, if they miss it this November, it will now move into 2026. And in as much as I know that PDP will not present any viable candidate that will make sense in 2027, I know that, and every Nigerian know that, even the PDP people, even Damago know that they cannot present any viable candidate in 2027. But there is something, just like Victor said, long-term politics, long-term planning. If they get it now, they will begin to put things on ground that in the near future, by 2028, 2029, you see the influx of most of those power brokers that left PDP return back to PDP and rebuild PDP. And PDP will give APC a good fight in 2031. And you know that APC will definitely have problem.
Very sure.
Yes, they will clash, because when you are over-bloated, you may either burst or be deflected.
An inclusion.
So now, the APC is already overfeeding itself. And I believe that Bola Tinubu is aware of this. It's a game plan. But however, let me not preempt them. Otherwise, they begin to call me prophet, and I wouldn't like to maintain that title. Let's watch them. But the only thing I will advise if I may call them the titans in PDP, is to do a more calculated fight. Don't just fight to get it, and while you are fighting to get it, you're exposing your nakedness. If at the end of the day you win the fight and you have already exposed yourself, what will you tell the spectators?
Now, with PDP internal crisis, we won't say that PDP is driving to a point where probably at the end of the day, whoever wins, one would say they've won the battle, but they lost the war.
The war, yeah.
In the sense that, okay, within the rank and file of the PDP, you are now known as the national officers, you're now in control of the party. However, you know, you have ended up losing the war because you've lost your foot soldiers, you've lost your strong
your captains, your commanders.
You've lost your generals. Your ship is the only thing standing with empty chambers, right? And at the end of the day, you know, if care is not taken, even come the general elections, they may not really have much lawmakers left, or that will win on their platform. Neither. When you look at all these things, you understand, one would say, because, I mean, the defection started early. By 2026, what will be left of PDP? Because if they don't get their acts together, January 2026, election has started, actually. There might be much more defections. One would say, is PDP going to self-destruct at this point in time?
Well, I think right now PDP is an ongoing territory. You know, in war, there are active participants. There are the people for and against, and there are people that are not in the fight, but they are up for grabs. That is how the PDP is. They are not in the battle, but they are in the battle. They are not fighting the battle, but they are in the perimeters of that battle. And because you're just like how it was during the Biafran War, just by proxy, you're part of the war. Whether River State, Port Harcourt, this area, South, yes, they were not actively in the battle, but because of the territory, when Nigerian army come, they don't care whether they see you as Biafran army, whether you are not, because of territory and all of that. And that is how the PDP is right now. Yes, I mean, there's statement that Akpabio made, you know, when Saraki Dixon was talking during the INEC chairman, when they were supposed to interview him, or what was the question? Akpabio said something that should allow him, that they are taking wise decisions. That if they don't go now, who will sign their form? How will they contest? any wise person will not even be there in the PDP. He said it in the floor of the house. Now, and that is the truth. There's a trap. There's a mousetrap. There's nobody. What you see happening with the PDP is a plot, and the mistake the PDP made was romancing the ego of Atiku and Wike.
For too long.
For too long. The PDP had an opportunity of feigning the most credible party. They had an opportunity pushing a candidate as a South person, from the last election would have been a major booster for them. Going back to Atiku was a mistake. Because why? You had an opportunity of Tinubu the candidate of Tinubu was shaky. It was really shaky. People were not, a lot of persons did not want him. Of course, that was one of the reasons. A lot of people tilted towards Obi because they saw it as a better, viable option. PDP had that opportunity. PDP had people that if they had presented, not Wiki, when I say people, not Wiki of course, but people that they would have presented and would have caused a challenge that would have kept them in the open. But what they did was, tilting to Atiku. Look, as far as this country is concerned, any party that tilts to Atiku's interest would not work in this country. Because Atiku is a highly selfish individual that, just the way Tinubu was, all he cared about was about what I want. So it wasn't about building a viable opposition, it was about building a structure that would take him to that position. Tinubu is a bit flexible because he was willing to sacrifice a lot. And he did sacrifice a lot. Atiku doesn't want to sacrifice. If Atiku was that person that Tinubu, he would have reconciled with Wike, somehow compromised to bring Wike along, which would have boosted his influence. But what? He did not. The fear he had was, this guy is strong, this guy, if I carry this guy will topple me, this guy. You're scared of what could happen to you.
When you've not even become.
So you see that for the PDP, there's I don't think they are in the battle. The fight in the battle is within themselves. It's not even to take over anybody. They know that, just like he said, they know that they cannot take over. Damagun knows that he cannot present any candidate that will win or stand as a strong opinion. That's why I think, the issue of Jonathan coming in was them thinking, okay, let's see if we push in somebody that is strong. At a point, I think I read them even thinking they could woo Obi to come along. So they know that they have the name, they have the reputation, as a national party. All they need is for strong people with character. But the same party that are looking for somebody with character to come and represent the party, they themselves do not have the character.
All right.
So that is where the PDP right now, I don't think PDP is in the battle. They are not in the battle, so there's no point saying they lost the battle. They are not fighting.
Battle within themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So the battle is within themselves are not.
And then they are losing the war, being
they've lost.
very well.